Bryce Doeschot on the Rural Radio Network. We're visiting out with Mark McHargue. He's the president of Nebraska Farm Bureau. As Mark, today you all hosted Senators Pete Ricketts and Deb Fischer in your Lincoln office to talk about the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017, calling on Congress to reauthorize that. Why is that important to members of Nebraska Farm Bureau?
Well, at the bottom line, we don't really want to pay any more taxes than we have to, but we just got a substantial tax break. And you know how hard that is to do that, and so it wasn't permanent though, and so we're really calling on Congress to extend that or make it permanent possibly, because it just really affects our bottom line. I mean, if we make money, we pay tax, but even if we don't make money, when it comes to inheritance tax, and we're multi-generational farms, and so it's not just the money that maybe my generation has made, but it's the money over the last multiple generations that gets carried forward. And if we don't have that automatic stepped up basis, that's going to cost a tremendous amount of tax. The last thing that we want to do is have to sell off part of the farm or ranch to pay tax, and so this does address that significantly, which is just really important for agriculture.
Were you and the team able to put any numbers to what this means for farm families across Nebraska if this does lapse?
You know, it's certainly thousands of dollars, but depending on your situation, it could be $20,000 or $50,000 or $100,000, and so it all depends on certainly on the state tax, but just on the income tax, it's significant. We don't always make money, but when we make money, we really need to be putting that money back into our operations, healing up from possibly years like this year and last year. Hopefully that's not the case, but if we can buy some rain here at some point, that might help that out a little bit.
All right, so you've got Senators Fischer and Ricketts here, obviously in Lincoln, as part of this press conference today. What do the House members say when it comes to the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act?
Yeah, they're all 100% in favor. They're going to write some. They're going to have some testimony that goes along with this press release. They just couldn't be here because of prior commitments.
Yep. Well, you've been in the nation's capital since the new administration has been there at least once, probably a couple of times at this point. What do you think of the Trump administration round two here, some of the actions that they're doing?
Well, I'm pretty excited about Ag Secretary Rollins. I've talked to her a number of times and had the chance to meet with her a couple of weeks ago. I know Congressman Bacon. I met with her yesterday, and I talked to Congressman on the phone last night, and he felt comfortable. I think she does have the best interest of agriculture at heart. She certainly has a good relationship with President Trump. So I think from that aspect, I'm pretty optimistic that we will have the president's ear on a number of things. I think we're going to have to let some of this just play out here for a couple of months, certainly on the tariffs and some of these things. But I know that they are working hard, and optimistic that we will get some of these trade deals back on the table. And ultimately, long term, if we can do that, that's going to be beneficial for agriculture.
One of the casualties, I guess is how it was described, was the USDA sent the latest round of funding because of how things have gone in Congress. Does that concern you, that a little bit of steam lost in that new, I think it's the ARS facility at Nebraska Innovation Campus? Yeah,
100%. So we're working on that. I know that we have talked to Secretary Rollins about that, because that will be just a substantial a research facility for Nebraska and really for this part of the country. And so that is one of the things that we are kind of parsing out and really going to try to get some movement and get some money back in there for that.
Mark McHargue, president of the Nebraska Farm Bureau, joining us. I'm Bryce Doeschot on the Rural Radio Network.